everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to edit videos and how I personally edit videos. You can do less, you can do more, you can use different programs that I do. This is just a tutorial showing how I use Adobe Premiere Pro and a little bit of Photoshop to create my films. So let's get started. We're going to be remaking basically this film. This is my most recent film that I made. It's about our main character Mark, who is trying to return a book to the library, but in order to do so he had to lie to his girlfriend, and then their friend found him and she basically tries to give him a life lesson to not, lie to his girlfriend so he can return a book to the library. So we're going to be recreating this story. We're going to be basically recreating this film. Alright, so the main Premiere Pro page, click New Project. I'm going to name this Tutorial, Create, Replace. And I'll just leave this as Sequence 1, it's whatever. Skip, Import Media. This is how I prefer to import media, not through this page. It's all confusing and you have to click stuff and it doesn't look right. If you go here, right click, and import, your actual files are here. It's a lot easier. Now we have all of our clips. Nice, lovely. So I'm gonna make sure I'm not selecting all of them and find the first one I want. And that first one would be, let's do this. Okay. Actually, real quick, I'm gonna go to Windows and I'm going to go on Workspace, and then I'm on Editing. We want to be on Assembly for this first bit. Just makes things a lot easier. So I'm gonna delete this. And now I'm going to double click on this clip. So assembly basically allows us to look around the clip and select the part we want to import into the project without having to import the whole thing, cut things up. It makes things a lot easier. So I want to include kind of want to start with the action, so this first little, actually I'm gonna go here since you can still see his foot. The keybind is I for in, that selects the beginning of our selection. And oh, real quick. Oh, actually I'm gonna go here. Alright. Now I can just click, drag, put this in. That's our first little bit. Let's go to here now. Action. Since he stepped with his right foot and is going off his left foot, we want to make sure we stay within that. We're doing what's called continuity editing. That's basically, this is one scene, one moment of time, and we're making it feel that way. This isn't a scene where it's like in multiple locations, multiple characters, different times. No, this is one scene in one location with the same people in the same moment in time. So we want to make sure it feels that way. We want to make sure it feels realistic. So since he stepped with his right foot and going off his left foot, I'm going to start here. I'm going to click I for in. And we're going to keep going until here. Until he's in the middle of the frame and he's fully turned to the left. And we're just doing rough cuts right now, and we're going to adjust audio and color and everything else later, but for now we're just getting the rough, clips in. And now I want to go to this. This is our master shot. This is the shot that has both of our characters in a wide frame where you can see the location they're in very clearly. Now we want to make sure, so since he turned fully, we want to make sure he's about here. So I for in, and we're gonna have this keep going until Natasha, who's the female character. Alright. I want to here. This is where I want it to cut, when it's like when she grabs the book just out of his hands. So now I'm gonna click and drag that here so you can see. It looks nice. It looks realistic. It makes sense. This one, our close-up view of Natasha. So she just grabbed the book out of his hands. Is about this point. So I'm gonna click I for in. Okay. So he's like doing a long hey. Halfway through the hey, halfway when he's turning his head up, we're gonna cut there, put this in, and now we're gonna go to Mark. I should probably use the character names. Mark's close up. Turn the volume so I can hear it.
Amy.
Okay. I don't like that. I'm gonna adjust it a bit. Right click, ripple delete. Natasha is about to speak, so we're gonna go back to Natasha's close up.
Amy. Amy, you know, your girlfriend told me you had an important test right now. This doesn't look like test taking to me.
I'm sorry.
Alright. So now I'm gonna drag this in. And this is probably the most tedious part on editing videos in my opinion. It's just you have to go to the clip, you have to find what you want, you have to cut it up and drag it. So let's just finish this up. Let's wrap this up. Okay, so now we have all of our clips assembled. They're all in continuity, they all make sense, it feels right. So now we're going to go back to Windows, Workspaces, and go to Edit. This is where we're going to spend most of our time here from now on. So now we want to make sure the cuts are smooth, do the fine tuning. We were just roughly getting over our clips in, but now let's make sure everything feels right and that the timing is good. That's good.
Amy, you know, your girlfriend.
I'm sorry. I need to turn in the book and
Unless you like.
Okay, that is definitely no.
doing this.
Unless you like.
So I'm gonna actually take my cutting tool. So she starts talking here.
Unless you.
Okay, here we go. So now back to select these two. Ripple delete.
Doing this.
Unless you liked her.
A lot better. Okay, nice. Let's keep doing this for the rest. So now we have all of our clips, nice in order. Let's get to the cuts. We're talking about L and J cuts. So what we have right now,
And I didn't have a chance doing this.
Unless you like.
this is
I have a
prime
chance doing
example.
this.
Unless you.
These are all hard cuts. That means the video of a character and the audio of them start at the same time. You really don't want that unless you're trying to bring in like a lot of attention. If you really want someone to focus immediately on that, which is why it's called a hard cut. L and J cuts is when you either put the video or audio first and adjust them. That way you can get a much smoother transition and you can create a better effect with them. For example, you want to do a L cut, which is the video of the character, then their audio, basically before they're talking, while the other character is talking, for like reactions. If another character is like yelling at them and you focus on and you cut to their face before they start speaking, you can see the reaction on their face. For J cuts, which is audio before video, it's more of the character establishing something, and you really want to see the other character that they're talking to. You want to see their reaction. So let's get right into this. Actually, first off, I'm going to select all of these clips, right click, and then this unlink button under enable, you want to click that. This separates all the video and audio, so that way you can adjust them independently, which is what we want to make this work. So I'm going to go to our first dialogue scene.
Amy.
Actually, I don't like that because of how the character is, so I'm going to readjust this.
Amy, you know.
And that's still better. So this feels a lot better.
Amy, you know, your girlfriend told me you had an important test right now. This doesn't look like test taking to me.
I'm sorry. I need to turn in the.
So I already started already kind of started the J cut here. You can see
I'm sorry, I
hear him
just- I need
talking before it cuts to his face. So I'm actually going to.
I need to turn.
I'm gonna leave that here actually. That's fine.
It's doing this.
Unless you like her.
That we're going to adjust.
Doing this.
Unless you liked her and came.
Okay, so I want to see his reaction of him getting startled. So we're going to move this back and move this here.
Doing this.
Unless you liked her and canceled the date y'all had planned.
A lot better, right?
It's doing this.
Unless you liked her and canceled.
Boom. The shock of when she starts yelling at him. Let's go to the next one.
I can't stand y'all had plans. I can't stand guys like you. Plans. I can't stand guys like.
This is actually fine since it's still Natasha talking. We're just cutting back to her. Think of this as a very long J cut. A shot reverse shot is when you focus on one character and then do the reverse, going to the other character and then back to them. So let me find a prime example of this. We have Natasha here. We have Mark here, and then we're going back to Natasha. And this is a prime example of a shot reverse shot. Anyways, we have our J cut here.
Unless you liked her and canceled the date y'all had planned. I can't stand guys like.
Actually, I'm just gonna adjust this. I don't like the amount of time in between her lines, so I'm just gonna do that and ripple delete. Alright, now that we have all of our cuts worked out, let's focus on fine-tuning the audio. And by fine-tuning the audio, I mean fixing the volume to make sure it sounds the same and loud enough across the entire film. So to do that, we're going to go back to Window, click Workspaces again, and we're going to click Audio. Now you might have to adjust things slightly, but it should roughly look like this for what we're trying to do. Now, on this right bar here, there's a whole bunch of, if I click on the audio clip, there's a whole bunch of different things. There's like enhanced speech, there's a bunch of presets, and there's dynamics and audio repair. We're not going to focus on that much. We're not going to focus on that much. What we're really trying to focus on is this right here. Specifically this, the level. You can actually adjust this down here if you want to. If I zoom in here and actually this is kind of better. Alright, well it looks kind of weird, but bear with me. You can actually adjust the same level using this, but I just find it a lot nicer to use a slider like this, where it displays the actual number that we have a general reference as to what things look like. So this is the first time we have audio, or this is where we start off with our dialogue. That's the word. And for dialogue, we want to get it to -6 on this bar. So you see how this green bar is going up and down? That is our volume level. We want for
Told me you had
dialogue
an important test right now.
for it to be at -6. That's the Goldilocks spot. That's the sweet spot. So we're gonna look here. All right. So he starts talking. Our character starts talking on this clip. So we're gonna raise our volume just slightly. I'm gonna start at 7.2, I guess, and see how that sounds. Not quite loud enough. I'm going to crank this all the way up to 15. Okay. That works well enough. The only reason why I'm not pushing this to be at -6 is because, you know, it starts as like a quiet hand and gets louder, so we want to kind of replicate that through the volume. So it's fine if this particular dialogue is a little quieter, but the rest from now on needs to be at -6. So I'm gonna just try bumping this all the way up to 15 and seeing what happens. So one thing, you can hear like a bump, you can hear like a pop between the clips because of the volume difference, and you can also just hear the volume difference. So I'm gonna turn this down to let's do 12 to start off with. Okay, that's very similar. I'm gonna go to 11. I'm really looking at this bar here. What I don't like is that pop. So we're going to go over to here, the effects. We're going to click here on effects, and we're going to go to audio transitions, crossfade, and to get rid of this pop sound, we're going to click and hold constant power, drag it here, so that way it just, it doesn't spread over the clip. And listen to this now. Much better. It sounds smooth, and that's because it's basically like cloning the audio and like mixing them together. Basically, it just removes the popping, and that's all we really care about. So now we want to slowly make this louder. Actually, no, I lied. We're gonna keep this hey quiet.
Amy.
Okay, that's a problem right there. This, when she takes a deep breath, what we can do is either A, move the clip so that way that doesn't happen.
Amy.
Or we can use what's called time keyframes. So we've been adjusting all of our audios. We've been changing this variable called level. What a keyframe does is it programs the adjustment at a specific point. So if we want to increase something within the same clip, we just set a different key point. You can have the volume go up and down, up and down. So I want to get rid of that. What I'm going to do is click on this here. And click this button, add keyframe here. Now I'm going to click this arrow to go back to this previous keyframe and just lower this whole thing. And I can adjust it manually, which is what I'm doing now. Let's see how this sounds.
Amy.
That's better. Let's make it a little quieter. Let's bring it down a little bit more.
Amy.
And that's a lot better. So now,
Amy.
we're going to go on to our next clip. We're going to adjust the volume. And now we really want to set it at -6 because that is the typical listening volume that you see in like YouTube videos and movies and whatever. So let's see how 12 sounds.
Amy. Your girlfriend.
A bit loud. I'm going to turn it down just slightly to 10.
Amy. Your girlfriend.
Okay, it gets loud at that point.
Your girlfriend.
So I'm going to set another keyframe again. So I'm going to click the add keyframe button and lower this volume down to 5. And let's see how that sounds.
Your girlfriend.
And that's good.
Your girlfriend told me you had an important test right now.
It gets a little quieter here though. So we're going to click the add keyframe again. And we're going to bring up the volume just tad.
Told me you had an important... Your girlfriend told me you had an important test right now. This doesn't look like test taking to me.
A bit on the loud side, so I'm going to adjust it slightly. Remember to click on the arrow, that way you go back to that keyframe. And I'm going to bring it down. It's at 10, let's bring it down to 9. Let's see how this sounds.
Your girlfriend told me you had an important test right now. This doesn't look like test taking to me.
I'm sorry,
A lot better. Now, Mark, he's a bit quiet here. So we're going to click keyframe. We're going to increase the volume. I'm going to try to go to 12. Let's see how that sounds. Actually, no, I lied. Keep it here. We're going to click that keyframe and add another one. Because I want this adjustment to be slightly more. More? So.
I'm sorry,
Okay, that's a lot better. We're going to go up to 13.5. This is where I reckon it will probably sound.
I'm sorry, I need to...
And it is. Okay, so now we go to this one. And it's the same deal. You want to go through these, you want to increase the volumes and make sure everything's
I need to turn in the book.
right.
And I didn't have a chance doing this.
Unless you lied to her.
And just make sure that it all sounds good. So we have all of our video, we have all of our cuts, we have all of our audio. Now for the last thing, we want to make this look pretty. Right now this looks pretty bland, the footage. I shot in log, which is basically short summary. It makes everything look very not colorful. All the blacks look lighter, all the whites look darker. It's not very contrasty, it's very plain. That allows us to edit it a lot more flexibly. So, I'm going to take this frame and I'm going to screenshot it. I'm going to export the frame using this button over here, and I'm going to put this as color reference. As a JPEG, it's fine. Alright, now we're going to go to Photoshop and click New File. Actually, I'll lie. Click Open, Color Reference, Open. Okay, now we have our exported frame here. I'm going to go click Adjustments, and the first thing I want to do is look at curves. So this is the thing that we're going to be mainly focusing on. As you can see right now, our little chart here, this is honestly not the worst thing ever. What you want is you want all of your highs to be towards the center, and it gradually gets lower. I'm going to make 3 points, not moving them, because you move these around to adjust it. Alright, for the dark, I want to kind of lower it more like this. And then for the high, I want to also lower it just slightly as I get here. And then for the mid, I want to increase it. And basically I just want this to look nice and colorful. Not necessarily colorful, but we want to fix the lighting. We want to make the dark spots look dark, the light spots look light. And so it's just adjusting them, making sure everything looks nice. And I'd say this is good. Now we're going to go back to adjustment, and we're going to go to brightness and contrast. Brightness, we're not going to touch, we're going to leave alone. Contrast, we're going to increase it though. I'd say something like this is good. You don't want it to be like too crazy, you want it to be subtle enough. Basically, make it look realistic and then make it pretty. Kind of, that's kind of how you do it. Hue and saturation. And the saturation I'm going to bump up just a bit. And I think this looks good. I think this looks fine. So we're going to go to File, you're going to go to Export, and you want to look for this, Color Lookup Tables. Click that. You see this cube, we want that cube file. So click OK, Color Reference, Save. We're going to go back to Premiere. This is Premiere. And we want to, first of all, go to Window, and this is going to be our last switching. We want to go to Color from Audio. And now we want to select everything, and we want to right click and nest it. Nest the secret ones. That just makes it to where we adjust the entire thing. You can still double click this and get into our individual smaller cuts, but for color this is great. And now I'm going to go to Lumetri Color, Input, Browse, and over here we have our color reference.cube. Click that, open, and our entire film looks like this. So, okay, this isn't good. This is a bit bright. This scene was a bit brighter, so I'm going to undo that, and we're going to try exporting this scene instead. So color reference 2. And we're gonna try doing the same thing. So curves, we want to make our 3 points on the bell curve. We want to make the darks darker. We want to make the brights not too bright one here. The mid-tone is kind of where we get our vibrance from, so we want to increase that. Maybe lower our brightness just a tad. Yeah, I think that looks good. Okay, so now we're going to go back to adjustments. We're going to go to brightness, contrast, and you can, choose these adjustments as much as you want. These are the ones that I prefer. Contrast, let's increase that to 22 is good. And then hue and saturation, we're gonna increase the saturation just a smidge. And there we have it. This looks a lot better. Remember, it's the cube file, not the 3DL or any other file. We want the cube file. Open this. And now our entire film looks a lot brighter, looks a lot more vibrant, looks a lot more alive. And that's it. We successfully took a bunch of raw clips, we cut them up, we assembled them, we made cuts and transitions, we did a bunch of audio stuff to make sure everything sounds right, and then we made it look pretty through color. And that is my entire process in editing a film. Thank you for watching this. I hope you learned something useful and that you can take this and edit films and videos yourself. And yeah, thank you for watching.